What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 with me, the Virtual Mechanic. And today's project, this is our showcar build, our competition entry, Ferrari 458. And this is the VM Italia Twin Turbo Edition. Looking a bit sorry for itself at the moment, but I'm hoping by the end of today's episode, it will look considerably better than it does now. You guys will be in charge of that. I need you to give me a score out of 10 in the comments. Let me know what you think of this finished Ferrari 458. When we get there, obviously, we aren't there at the moment. Let's have a little bit of a further look in. As I said, it is the VM Italia Twin Turbo Edition of the Ferrari 458. Looking a bit different to what we see on the screen here. A few subtle changes. Biggest of all is the engine in there. We've gone for the V8 double overhead cam AXK TRS M means mid-engined, and obviously this is a twin turbo edition. Now, I haven't done full custom twin turbos on this one. I've kept it with the stock twin turbos on there, but I have done a lot of custom pipe work for you guys to all enjoy, along with a selection of bonus parts, none of which, bar two, are on there at the moment. I've picked two down here, and that's because the suspension does clip through into the car. That happens with the normal Ferrari 458, the standard version that you can get with this mod, which I will link in the description below to the mod, but this customer version will only be available to my channel members. But yes, these two bits here, I can't get them out where they are, so it's a bit of a shame. I didn't want them to go body color, but when we paint the car later, they may have to. I am going to keep trying to take them out throughout the episode, because I know pitting them back in will be a lot easier than getting them out. So if you are a channel member and you do get access to this config, one of the things you can do to make sure that they're not there, not pre-installed, is you can go into the car editor on, obviously, from Steam Workshop, and from there you can change it so they're not pre-installed when you buy the car. Basically, I have all my bonus parts pre-installed when I buy the car, so I don't lose track of what goes on what. I have since taken them all off and got rid of them all so that they won't be included in the cost. We'll have to buy them all brand new to put this beautiful Ferrari back together. Now let's jump in and check out the engine that is almost entirely missing. Seeing a bit of the pipe work there. Didn't mean to show you that. Yes, so there is lots missing on that engine. In fact, I don't even think we're going to try and keep it. Do we have any pistons? We don't have any pistons or nothing. So we've got the crankshaft, the block, the gearbox, and I'm assuming the gearbox housing kit. So I think we're just going to buy a brand new engine to go in this one instead of trying to salvage what little's left in there. So let's get started with that. Let's go into our menu. I've got TK Basics mod available on Nexus, linked in the description below, which allows me to do this along one of many things. Is press the Z key and it swaps the shop, so I can buy either a standard engine, a tuned engine, or the tuned parts kit. I think that comes with everything, just with tuned parts as well. I've never bought that version. I'm going to go and buy a pre-built tuned engine, and obviously, oh, I'm already on the screen. We want the V8 double overhead cam AXK TRS-M engine, costing us from the beginning 27,716. So we're already quite a bit down for this build, which is a bit of a shame. It's one of those things. Let's go back into here. What did we pay for this beautiful Ferrari 458? We click on this one here. Not bad. 29,417 is what I paid, and I could sell it right now for 31,743. Making profit, 2,326 profit if we were to sell the car right now. But we're obviously not going to do that. We've got our work cut out ahead of us. And one thing I do want to say is I'm going to step back very quickly, because tomorrow, yes, Friday the 17th of January, the Taxi DLC is out for Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Which means on Monday, we will be doing one of the fantastic new taxis that are coming in the DLC. And we will be sending them around the racetrack. And we'll be sending all of them around the racetrack so we can pair them all together and have a mini little competition series based on the DLC taxis that are coming tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the taxi DLC. I think it'll be something different, something just a little bit different out there. We all like taxis, we all use taxis, and now it's going to be time for us to tune these taxis as high as they can possibly go and send them around the racetrack. But enough of that. Let's get started with the beautiful Ferrari 458. Let's get it into the car wash. Let's get it all cleaned up. She might be all rusty, but she is cleaned inside and out, and that red is really, really popping now. Now, one of the first things I'm going to say is we obviously know we don't need to drain the oil because there is no oil pan, although this has got a covered under tray, so you can't see. Did make it hard for some of the bonus parts, I won't lie. But let's get in and start tearing some of this off. Obviously, the wheels need to come off so we can get access to them drive axles, so we can get that beautiful gearbox out of there. So first off is the wheel, and then it's the rear drive axle B, and the same for the other side. Let's get all of this out, and then get that gearbox out, and see what else we're going to need to put back together this beautiful Ferrari 458. Now, we are missing the starter, so I am going to add that to my shopping list now so we don't forget it. Let's rip the gearbox out of there. Looking very sorry for itself. Obviously, we're going to get a full tuned version of that gearbox, so we won't be using that one again, but wrong side. How many years? Anyway, let's put you back down on the ground. Let's go and grab the engine crane and rip that twin turbo, or what's left of that twin turbo V8 out of this engine bay. Out you come, nice and easy. We shouldn't be using anything else from that block, but I am going to strip it down. And one thing I did forget to do, let's put our new shiny engine, not the old one, on to the engine stand and see what we've got going on with all of the tuned parts on here. It's looking quite nice. Obviously, we've got the tuned exhaust, the tuned engine heads, the tuned alternator, couldn't think of what it was called there. Lots of different tuned parts going on here. I'm assuming all the camshafts and stuff on the inside are tuned. It's all looking pretty good. I think it's going to look quite smart inside the car. Obviously, with our twin turbos, piping is set up to connect all of this up. May look a bit weird in places, but we'll see all of that a little bit later on. For the time being, let's get back to our Ferrari 458 and see what's going on the engine in the engine bay. Absolutely nothing. Now, I don't want to give too much away, so I'm not going to show it here completely what's missing. But the entirety of the engine bay is all missing, so we'll have to sort that one out a little bit later, or the engine bay, should I say. There's a bit at the front as well. As for the rear suspension, obviously we took both wheels off and the drive axles, so that all looks pretty complete in there. Love to see it. Down at the front, one side looks complete. We've got the end links, we've got the inner and outer tie rods, all the upper and lower arms and things like that. The other side, on the other hand, though, we're missing the inner and outer tie rod, the sway bar end link, the bottom arm, the shock. But I do think we seem to have everything else apart from maybe that central hub bearing. We're probably missing that one as well. So we've got some stuff to buy for this one. A little bit for the suspension, all of the engine bay, and obviously we've already bought that beast of an engine. So I'm now going to go in and get everything bought that we need to buy for the engine, for the suspension, repair what we can from that suspension, try and salvage as much of it as we possibly can, as well as upgrading it to make this a more powerful Ferrari 458. So I'm going to crack on with all of that. When we come back, it'll be time to start tearing down this bodywork and seeing a couple of the bonus parts, as well as getting this beautiful Ferrari back together and then into the paint shop. That's everything mechanical, repaired, replaced, or upgraded, ready to go back on our beautiful 458. But now we need to strip this bodywork off with that front bumper. We do have a fender there and some floaty headlights just at the moment. Ignoring that, never mind. Off with that snout nose hood on there. What else have we got going on? Another fender on this side. No windshield, no doors, no side skirts, no rear quarters. Do have body windows on there though, so out you come. Off we come with the trunk, rear bumper, and I think, yeah, that's a car. That's a car. That is a car. That's a car part. Car part one it was. Off with the tail light on this side. Is that a window in there? No, that's just part of the bodywork. Nothing. Round we... Oh, there is a side skirt on that side. Did I miss that one? Nope, it definitely wasn't there. Round we go, and that looks like it could be it. So let's get on and get the interior out. Not sold on these seats. I'll have a play around and probably going to go for a VM steering wheel. We'll see what fits well on that center console. Maybe just be going back in with the original steering wheel. But have we stripped everything off of our beautiful 458? No, we haven't, because we're not down to the bare frame. We're definitely missing something. No, we're not. Okay. Weird. I do know that sometimes going down to the bare frame doesn't always work, and I don't know what the reason is behind it, but that should be down to the bare frame, because we've got nothing in the car. It is well and truly fully stripped out, so okay, we're just going to carry on and pretend that we've got it all fully sorted, because I know we sort of have. But there we go. That's everything off of this beautiful 458. We jump back in. We know the frame's at 31%, and I paid just under 30,000 for this beautiful Ferrari. So what do we think? Do we think it's going to be like a classic 1500? Do you think it's going to be higher? I'm going to go 2.5. 2. It was 2. I wasn't too far off for the beautiful 458. As we now jump in to check out the body shop for the 458. It's nice and simple. There are only 4 pages and everything is well labeled. Thank you very much. It looks absolutely fantastic in here. But everything sort of says what it is. That's the Special without the badges. I think that's the one we are going for. Standard front bumper, wide body, and just a standard one without the badges on there. So they all are very well listed as to what is what, wide body, so on and so forth. But I have already spent some time deciding what's going to be best for our little 458. So we will be putting it back together exactly as it came apart. So we don't need to worry too much about this one. I do think that's the rear end we're going for with the black badges on there. I do like the black badges, and I prefer that rear end to the Special rear end. So that's what we're going to be going for. As I said, it is going to be going back together pretty much exactly as it came apart, because I've already spent time designing it and building it this way specifically. The only things that may change obviously is the interior. I'm not sure about them seats, so we might swap them around, and maybe we'll have a play with the lights, but I doubt it. I already sort of decided the lights I want on that one. So I'm going to crack on, start getting this beautiful Ferrari's bodywork all back together, and we'll be back in just a moment to start reassembly before taking it into the paint shop, because I have done a livery for this one today. Let's start getting the VM Italia twin turbo 458 all back together then. I'm pretty confident I've bought everything, so let's just get throwing it back on. Hood B with the vents without the carbon fibre is what we've gone for. The front left fender, it's just a front left fender for that one there. The front bumper, we've gone for the Special without logos, as you saw that one already. And our beautiful headlights are the facelift tinted headlights on there. I do like the look of that front end, looking very mean and aggressive. On with the windshield, obviously we got the fender for the other side, and the doors, we've gone for the Special doors just because they look good on there, along with the Special side skirts with the little fins sticking out, just because I like a little bit of extra wideness or extra width where I can. Mirror, window, and window, if I could get you in there. Nicely done. Around to the back we go. The rear bumper is the blacked out badge one on there. The rear bumper F. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Car part 1, which is technically a spoiler. This is the base standard part that goes on there. We will be putting a bigger spoiler on in just a moment. The 458 trunk, that is the only piece, and the trunk window, the only piece to go onto there. For the tail lights, I've gone for the facelifted tinted tail lights again. As you can see, they're a different colour to the bodywork, so we may play around with that later, but I do quite like it just a little bit different. It may lead us to throwing a few extra bits of chrome onto this build somewhere. One thing we will do while we're here is put it on our blank license plate, because we can. Left body window on you go, a door on you go, and obviously our lovely side skirt just there. Door window and the side mirror, and that should be everything for the bases of the bodywork. We've got a couple of bonus parts that I can put on now, so we're going to throw them on. On we go into this mode. At the front here, if I could get it, is a spoiler 3, just because it matches in with the fins that stick up out the back there. I say matches. It sort of matches in with the fins that stick up the back there. I just think it gives the front a bit more definition and just a bit more width, which I do like. So anyway, enough of that. Round to the back. Up here, this should be spoiler 4, one of the standard spoilers from the game. Pretty big on there. I chose this one because I'm going to come out of this mode just because that's annoying. I chose this one because I could get them lined on the actual trunk piece. So when you open the trunk, it does open with the trunk. That's specifically why I chose this spoiler. And it's a double spoiler one, and it looks quite nice on this 458. It should hopefully look a lot better when it's coloured a little bit later on. But before we get to there, let's get our interior in, as my dog has just started barking in the background again. Wonderful. I've gone for the Recaro racing seat. I definitely haven't tried painting it, so that's weird. But anyway, on you go and on you go there. We will be adding a bit of colour to that a bit later on. And for the steering wheel, the Virtual Mechanic A wheel with the logo down the bottom. It does all fit quite nicely. I will say one thing about those Recaro seats. in a second. Once we get to the steering wheel, as you can see, that fits pretty well on there. Maybe not perfect, but well enough. And then the Recaro seats do clip into the headliner ever so slightly, which is a bit of a shame, but we can gloss over that one. It doesn't matter too bad. Now, this should be this beautiful Ferrari all back together, ready to go to the paint shop. 100%, 100%. 100%. That's what we like to see. Let's get the beautiful 458 into the paint shop, check out the livery, and decide the colours we're going to go for. Time to get the 458 all painted and ready to go. I mean, it already looks quite good in this sort of mismatch red and grey. I do think red is the colour we're going to stick with. But maybe not this red. Maybe we'll fine-tune the red a little bit. Let's jump over to the liveries and start here. I'm just going to go back one because it's the only livery there is, well, apart from one I'd created before. This is what we're going for. It is the Italian flag, faded from the front there, from a black into, obviously, the colour, and then wrapping all the way over the top with a little squiggly lined black border. Not quite my best work I've ever done on this one. I might try and tidy that one up, just smooth that line out a little bit if I can, before I make this livery available to the channel members. But there we go. That's what we're going for today. And I think one of the first things we want to do is I want to try and match these reds the best I can. And I think it's got a little bit more pink in it. So I'm going to just nip this down a tad from the red, if I could. I reckon we'll just sort of play it by ear. What have we, I mean, have I actually just nailed that? Oh, no, not quite. That is very, very close. 355, 85, 85. So what if I bring that? That's not the way. I want to go a bit darker on that. What if we went to 80? That's not too bad. Just a little bit of a demonstration of how I colour match here going on. That, I think, is going to be it. But I don't want it in a gloss finish. I think we're going to go for a matte finish on this one. Pearl's not bad. No, I'm definitely going for a matte finish. And, oh, that colour match is almost perfect in the matte. 355, 80, 80 to colour match the livery red on there. So I'm going to write that one down quickly. And let's have a look and see if we can match this green. Now, I have already given this a sort of go. So I reckon it's around the 145 mark, if I can get there. And what have I got on here? 90 and 50. Let's give that a bash, see how it turns out in a matte finish. Pretty good on that one, I do say so myself. That's not too far off. We can live with that, because I've got a plan for the red and the green, so I definitely want to make sure I save them. But I do want to keep the bodywork in red, so we go back up to our 355 and 80 on there, so we can get that colour matched. Oh, that's because it's got the black on there. There we go. Up here is where we want to look. That's where it looks like it's matching. So that's what we're going to go for. We're also going to paint our screws white, which I've already set up, not including the rims. I'm hoping that's going to look pretty cool. So let's get this all painted. On we go. That colour, when you actually press spray, is a bizarre colour red, but it looks really nice on the car. And it does sort of match in with our Italian flag on the top for the Italian Stallion competition. I like that. I think that looks pretty smart. Just enough of the flag livery on there, and obviously still some red bodywork showing up around. Probably not going to change anything on the body. Maybe this spoiler, maybe we'll go for a white on the spoiler so it sort of looks like a central piece. That might not be too bad at all. Probably going to go with white rims, hence why I didn't paint the bolts white. I want to try and get a different colour on there. Maybe a bit of red, maybe a bit of green on there, just for some good measure. We shall see. As for the seats, let's open this up. What do we reckon? Do we do green on the white, or do we keep the white bit white and try and pick green on the seat somewhere else? Or maybe even try and get some red stitching on there, because I do think the interior of this Ferrari has already got a bit of red stitching. It has plenty of red stitching around there. So maybe if we could change the stitch work on here to red, that'll give it just enough definition that will look pretty cool. Obviously, I've got a plan for the engine and the suspension. We'll come to that and view it all in just a couple of moments. But for the minute, I'm going to crack on, start getting everything painted so we can get this beautiful Ferrari back together, ready for you guys to give this beast a score out of 10. That's everything painted on our beautiful little 458. And I may have gone a bit over the top with the Italian flag livery design. not necessarily on the livery, but everywhere else. If we jump in for the underneath, you can see that we've got the red, the white, and the green available on every wheel. If we go all the way around, I'm not going to obviously show you down the back just yet, but there is a little bit of red, white, and green everywhere on this car. You've got green, white, and red just there. You've got it in the springs and the upper and lower arms and stuff like that. We've even got it on the battery there, which does have a little bit of clipping, which I didn't notice while I was building it, but there we go. Things unpainted. We've got an unpainted wishy-washy reservoir just up here. And if we jump down the back, the ABS pump and module and also our brake servo are both unpainted. They are hidden underneath something, so we won't see them anyway. And we've obviously got our Haltech ECU skins from Barker, looking absolutely fantastic. Our power steering reservoir is painted in a matte black, and it's at a funny angle. Hopefully it should make sense when the engine goes in. Fuel tank's in black with a green fuel pump, and the rear suspension is almost identical to the front suspension. I do think it all looks quite nice. We're going to come out of here though. Obviously we did manage to get some colour on the interior. You can see the stitching just there. Did manage to get some of it in red, some of it in white. The only thing we're missing on the interior is green, but that's why it's got green brake calipers all the way around, just for an extra splash of that green. We did the spoiler in a white on there, and obviously the right tail light on the right side of the car has got the green, and the left tail light on the left side of the car has got the red to keep up with that livery theme. As I said, may have gone a little bit over the top with the Italian flag livery design. There's still more to come, don't worry. So let's go and get this engine finished off. On the stand right now, it doesn't look too much Italian flag. We've got a bit of red and white on there at the moment, but there's plenty more to come. Block is unpainted. The oil pan's in a matte black. The heads are in that body matched red and a matte black on there, and our obviously idle rollers are all in a red around the outside. Now you do have two camshafts per head and 4 spark plugs in there, so make sure you don't miss them out, with cam gears on the end and 2 timing belts underneath the timing cover. But let's get on and get some of this rest of this beast all together. I don't even know where to start. Oh, I've got to make sure I get this all the right way round. This side needs to be red. Yes, that's the right way around. There we go. So that's a red head cover on there. Obviously, I had to do a lot of thinking just to get that one done. But a red head cover on this side. And then on the other side, we've got a green head cover because it is going to keep in line with the Italian flag design. Let's get all of you bolted up and let's get the last piece of this part of the flag on. On you go. Intake manifolds in white. A bit of black on the underside just to give it a bit more definition. Then the fuel rail on this side wants to be the red one. Just a little bit of red on there, mostly in white. And the fuel rail on this side is the green one, again mostly in white, just with a little bit of green. Then for our ignition coils on this side, under the red we want some green just because we can, and why not? Simple as that, why not? So we get you on, and then the coil covers are just in a black on there, looking quite nice. On the other side, obviously red ignition coils on the green cover with a black coil cover over the top of that one. Got a bit more Italian flag design. We've obviously got our white in the middle here. So our power steering pump is in a green and our alternator is in a red on there. Keeping that up as well. Let's get the... dodgy mouse. Let's get a serpentine belt on there, serpentine belt on the other side, and a belt tensioner in, just in a cheeky little extra bit of white with the last idle roller in red just there. Swing around to the back. We've got, in fact, before we do that, I'm going to go and do these exhaust manifolds because these are in a beautiful matte white. I think they look very, very nice, and the rest of the exhaust is all going to be in a matched colour. We'll come to the turbos in a moment. On you go for this side. Let's get you all bolted up. There we go. Now we can get our throttle on. So we throw the throttle on. This is in a black and white on there, mostly in the white, just a little splash of black down the middle. Then on this side, we've got a green and white turbo. On you go there. And on this side, we've got a red and white turbo, keeping up perfectly with that colour matched flag design. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, but let's get it off the stand. It really does look like the Italian flag. Wrong button. Let's get it off the stand and get it dropped into our beautiful 458 and see how good it looks inside that engine bay. Grabbing the crane and let's get it dropped in. We're going to open up the trunk first. In you go. Pop you in. Put the crane away because we shouldn't need that one anymore. And I'm just quickly going to go into camera mode just so we can go up in the air and just see it from up here. That's what I wanted to see. I think it looks fantastic like that, with the green and white running down the white running down the middle, the green on one side and the red on the other, followed all the way through apart from that fuel filter. I could not think of the word. There we go. But I do think that all looks pretty good. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. We have got still quite a bit of work ahead of us though, because we've got our full custom exhaust to put in, along with our gearbox and our rear drive shaft. So let's get started. We jump into the middle. You can see all the pipe work there. We'll get all of that in a second, but we're going to start with our white gearbox on there with a splash of black. Just to say, on you go. Then our starter, which is just in a black, and obviously we've got all our white bolts looking absolutely incredible. Now, let's get on with all of this exhaust. So, you've got the exhaust coming into the turbo from here, powering this impeller, whichever one you want to call it, and then obviously coming all the way, that's the drive shaft, let's not get you just yet, all the way down through here, up into the back, and then up out into our triple exhaust. And I have made it all line up. We've got this middle muffler 2 in the middle there, and then obviously our 3 tips, which we'll have a better look at in just a moment. But we'll go back up the other side, get all of these in, and get this connected up to the outlet of the exhaust on the other side. Round you go. We do have some bonus parts to go in here as well to finish it all off. You can see some gaps. That will all make sense in a moment. So then coming out from here, obviously, starting with, this is our air intake section. On you go there. There is a joining boot clamp in the middle there, so we get the other side done as well. So cold air or fresh cool air comes in here, spun around the turbo up into our double intercoolers, which I've done this specifically to make it fit, so we'll see how good it works out. I'm so glad I can put them in now. I was a bit worried I wouldn't be able to. I've done it double because I wanted it thicker. You can see you got 2 inlets there. I wanted them to be morphed into one, so I've sort of doubled up and reversed them so that they look a bit better than they would do. So let's get this connected up to the other side. On you go there. And then the final bit out of the intercoolers in our imaginary connection, obviously into our throttle body and then into the intake. I think that's all looking pretty good. Obviously, we've still got a little bit to go to finish it off. And while we're here, we'll throw our drive axles in, just in a black on there with a white bolt. On you go. And on you go on the other side. And then we should be ready for the wheels. But before we do the wheels, we're going to do our bonus parts. So we're going to get it back down, because you do kind of need to pay attention to this one, because if you get one thing wrong, it's almost impossible to get it out. So we want to right-click, interior and additional parts, and then switch to additional parts, assembly mode. Now, the top pieces here, these are quite obvious. They're high flow air filters. So we just get them on. One on one side is the green, this side. Yeah, there we go. And the one on the other side is the red just there. There is a theme going on. Now, these top 2 bonus part icons, these ones need to be my 3rd boot clamp, and we're on the green side. So that one, I've got to make sure I get this right. If you get this wrong, these go absolutely tiny and are almost impossible to pull out. So be very, very careful. What was it? First 2 are my 3rd boot clamp. On you go there. And then the bottom 2 are my 2nd boot clamp. Obviously, we're going for our green to keep it all colour matched on there. On you go and on you go. Then the top 2 again on this side are the 3rd boot clamp, which are reduction in size in the red. And then the bottom 2 are the normal, my 2nd boot clamps, which are the short ones. But just to finish this off, let's go back into normal mode. Back into normal mode. We'll go into photo mode just so we can get a much better view of the engine and all these boot clamps connecting it all up and stuff like that. All colour coordinated, so each side of the car has its green or its red on, apart from that fuel filter, which I'm a little bit disappointed with. I should have done it black or something like that. But I think that looks absolutely fantastic in there. And in fact, while we're here, I might sneak down into here a little bit and see if I can get a good enough picture, because I do think this is quite a cool spot to get a picture of it all from. Nope, can't go back any further. I think that'll do quite nicely. So we're just going to grab this picture here while we're here, because we can. Out we come with that mode, and then I'll show you the last little bit. In fact, we will go into photo mode so we can just be at any height we want. We've obviously got the black tips on our exhaust, but all that white piping behind it is what I've made work to make this exhaust fully connected and fully fitted. We can't obviously go underneath because we got that tray, but we can go around the side so you can see it all piping up through and things like that. I think it looks fantastic. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But before we move on, we've got our wheels to go. So let's start by putting these on. Again, I've got to make sure I get these on the right side. So we're not using the rim at Classic 07. What we are using is the rim at 23A. 0 ET on the front, so these are the front rims. It's a 19-inch rim 235 width on the tyre, 30 profile, and obviously no ET needed. But we do want to make sure we put the green ones on this side. So we've got green and white on this side of the car. And then if I nip over to the other side, we'll just get the other front one done so we can get the red and white done on this side. So keeping up still with that sort of Italian flag, keeping the red on one side of the car and the green on the other. Let's get down to our rear wheels for this rear wheel. Obviously, they're the same 23A rims, but this is a 19-inch rim at the back with a 235 width on the tyre, 30 profile on the tyre, and ET15 for the rears. And we are keeping up with that red and green, but also we're using our race tyres from Payne's Pack, available through his Patreon. Link in the description below. Green on this side, and I think this is all looking pretty good. And this should be, apart from liquids, this car all finished. I do like the green and white on this side, and then the red and white on this side. Obviously, the red and the green on the rims is not overpowering. It's predominantly white, but just a little splash of it just to finish it off. I think this looks absolutely fantastic. Let's just double check. We are all 100% complete. We just got some liquids to top up and get this beautiful 458 on the dyno and get our custom plate added. Then we can get this video all finished off. Don't forget, I do need a score out of 10 from you guys in the comments so we can get the 458 added to our showcar board. Will it take the top spot from the Hoonavan? It's up to you guys. Let me know in the comments with a score out of 10. Let's get this car outside in the sun after we got its liquids topped up. The last bit of our 458 Italia Twin Turbo Edition. Looking absolutely fantastic in that livery and the odd coloured wheels. I quite like it, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, off with our blank license plate at the rear and on with our finishing plate, which is Italia TT for Italia Twin Turbo. Pretty cool. Obviously, there's pretty much the name of the car, just with the VM in front of it and the Ferrari 458. But you can see that it's the Ferrari 458. And those that know that this is a VM edition anyway. It is looking absolutely fantastic. I really have enjoyed making this car. It's one of my... not my favourite builds, like actually cool looking builds like that. Don't get me wrong, it is a very cool looking build, but it's not one of my favourite cars. But it's been my favourite to customise. Keeping that Italian flag theme running throughout the whole build has been a little bit of a challenge. Fun nonetheless, working out what bits can go what to make it look like the Italian flag as we move all the way around it. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. Please do give this beautiful beast a score out of 10 so we can add it to the showcar boards. And if you want access to this config and livery, both available to my channel members for £2.99 a month, become a member of the VM Garage Club, join the Discord, have a chat and a laugh with us, but also get access to my custom configs and liveries, as well as 1 day early access to every video. But anyway, enough of that. Let's jump inside, checking out this interior as we go. There is two different types of interior you can get with this 458. There's this one here with the stalky centre columny bit, and the other one's got a slightly different interior that looks slightly different wherever you look, basically. But I like ours here, especially with that VM steering wheel and our custom seats. But let's get it started and see what this little beast with a twin turbo engine sounds like. Very aggressive tick over there. Let's give it some gas. I'm looking forward to hearing the turbo's whistle for the first time in a while. Absolutely fantastic. One of my favourite sounds in the game is that turbo whistle just ticking off just there. We love to hear it. But let's get this beast onto the dyno, see what its horsepower is and what its drag rating will be. Let's get the VM Italia twin turbo Ferrari 458 dynoed with that twin turbo V8 pumping out 1,224 horsepower from the factory, which was already high. How much have we added today with our performance parts and tuning? Again, 1,575 horsepower, 129% power increase. Absolutely fantastic from this beautiful twin turbo Ferrari V8. I absolutely love that. Drag rating of A at 999, but our total horsepower is 2,798, almost at 2,800 horsepower. Not far away from 3,000 horsepower from this beautiful twin turbo Ferrari and its fantastic colour matched engine. I do love that. I love how it's turned out. I think it looks fantastic. Now, obviously, we're not racing this one today. It's our show car build, so I need a score out of 10 from you guys, especially now it's finished looking beautiful. But we do have our gearbox Obviously, this is the standard one that it comes with, so I haven't adjusted any of this, but we do obviously have our ECU fully tuned and ready to go, giving us 16% additional tuning. And if you're struggling with this in any way, shape or form, there is a short video linked up in the top right hand corner here. It's also linked in the description below that shows you how to perfectly tune the ECU every time without fail. Less than 60 seconds long, YouTube short, definitely worth checking out. There's also one in the description for the carburetors if you need to see how to do them. But today we obviously had the ECU. So there we go. Enough of that. Let's get this Ferrari back outside in the sun. Talk about some facts and figures. See what you guys are willing to give this one a score out of 10. And then talk about what we've got coming up in the next episode. I've got stuck on the monitor. Viva 458 Italia, absolutely fantastic from that twin-turbo V8 Ferrari 458, almost 2,800 horsepower, but it is now time to talk facts and figures, specifically around the prices we paid for this beautiful little car. We bought the car for $29,417 in a very sorry state at the beginning of the episode, but we could have sold it right there and then and made a profit of $2,326. We obviously didn't do that. We spent $22,889 upgrading and tuning all of the suspension and getting all the engine bay sorted ready for that twin turbo V8, which cost us $30,748, including all its liquids, gearbox and starter. For the bodywork, the interior and the frame cost us $10,269. Our stunning two-tone wheels and tyres was $7,539. Just the rear private plate today, so only $850 for that one. The paint and finishing cost us a total of $20,347. And for our bonus parts, apart from the two consoles on the inside of the car, we spent $1,781, putting our total spend for this beautiful 458 at $123,840. Quite a bit of money spent on this one. Let's get off the B-roll and get back to this beautiful Ferrari. Here we are. She just looks absolutely beautiful. I love this Viva Italia livery. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, especially the way it carries on down through into the engine on there. The triple stripes just looks absolutely fantastic. I'm so pleased with how it turned out. I hope you have enjoyed this one. Do give it a score out of 10 if you have. And also leave a cheeky little like. And don't forget to subscribe for plenty more Car Mechanic Simulator content from me, the Virtual Mechanic. But anyway, we spent $123,840 getting this beautiful Ferrari to how you see it now. Is there some money to be made from this fully finished 458? Everything 100% on there, just under 100,000 kilometers, so not too shabby. And we obviously tuned that twin-turbo V8 to a whopping 2,798 horsepower, 129% power increase. Absolutely fantastic. But $123,840 is what we spent. Is there some money to be made if we were to sell this beautiful Ferrari? And with a sale price of $309,524, there's definitely some profit in there. A total of $185,684 profit. But I need to get off this screen so we don't accidentally sell our beautiful Ferrari 458 Italia. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, if we look over to the trailer, you'll see that there is nothing on said trailer, and that is for one very, very simple reason. Taxi DLC comes out tomorrow. Yes, so I'll be making a video over the weekend on the Taxi DLC to come out on Monday. So we've got nothing on the trailer yet because it isn't in the game yet. So that is what it is. But we will be working on one of the new taxis that are coming in the DLC when it comes out tomorrow. I hope you guys are looking forward to the Taxi DLC. I know I definitely am. So do make sure to join us back here on Monday for the release of the Taxi DLC. Well, probably not the release, but my first play with the Taxi DLC, where I will show you absolutely everything that was going to be coming with the Taxi DLC. All the new vehicles, all the new engines. We'll even build one, restore it, and take it around the racetrack, because that's what we're going to be doing with all of the taxis from the Taxi DLC. So I hope you will join us back here on Monday for that one. It should be interesting. Let me know what you thought of our VM Twin Turbo Italia Ferrari 458 in the comments below with a score out of 10 so we can get it added to the show car board. And if you want access to that beautiful 458 config and livery, hit that join button below for £2.99 a month and become a member of the VM Garage Club, where you do get access to all my custom configs and liveries. Also a Discord where we can all chat and have a laugh. Early access to all my builds, sometimes helping me designing them, you know, with a few ideas and things like that. You do always see them early, and plus you do get 1 day early access to every single one of my videos. Like these guys on screen here, my channel members, you're all absolute legends. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for being members. Thank you so much for being here. You really do help me out, and I appreciate you. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, whatever it is you're getting up to, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe for Virtual Mechanic.